Welcome to my class, student. It's class 8 English. It so happened this is chapter 3, the selfish giant, and this is session 3. Earlier in this story, what have you seen? You have seen there is a giant who visited to his friend and stayed there for 7 years. After 7 years, when he returned back to his castle, he found many children playing in his garden. He was very angry. What did he do? He put a notice board. Trespassers will be prosecuted. And he built a huge wall around his garden. What did he say? I would only play because this garden belonged to me. What happened? The children were very unhappy. But not only that children, the spring also didn't come. Spring was everywhere in other parts of the country. But in the giant's garden, it was only winter. And who were very happy in that garden? Snow, frost, north wind, hail. They were very happy. What were they saying? Wow, spring had forgotten this garden. It's a beautiful spot. We would live here for a year round. And giant was also thinking, why spring hasn't yet come? Why there is so long winter? But one day he heard a music. He thought king's musicians were passing by. But it was not the king's musician. It was a little linnet who was singing a song. And after a long time, when he heard that music, he thought this was the most beautiful music in the world. So he jumped out of his bed and looked out of his window. So what did he see? Let's find. To celebrate the return of children, in this part you will find trees cover themselves with birds and blossoms. The giant was delighted to see his friends back, especially a little boy whom he loved dearly. The little boy soon disappeared, only to return much later. Now this is the thing we will go through in detail. What did he saw out of his window? He saw a most wonderful sight. Through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in. Nobody could stop the children. There was a hole, and all the children, little children, they managed to creep inside. And they were sitting in the branches of the trees. In every tree that he could see, there was a little child. Who could see? The giant could see. So this was the most wonderful sight. Just see, children have crept inside and the giant was seeing. And the trees were so glad to have the children back again that they had covered themselves with blossoms and were waving their wands gently above the children's heads, because on every branch, on every tree there were children. So they were so happy. Trees were very happy. The birds were flying about and twittering with delight. And the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. See, the scene has been changed. Where there was only snow in the garden, now again you are seeing trees, birds, flowers, children, grass, everything. It seemed that they have all returned back. They were so happy with the children. Spring has come to the garden. See here, the giant is seeing. On every tree there is a child. Birds are twittering in delight. Flowers are there. They were so happy. And the trees are there. They are gently waving their arms on children's head. See, this is a most wonderful sight that the giant has seen. Because earlier there was only winter, but now there's full of greenery, full of beautiful colored flowers. See the scene. It seemed to me also the most wonderful sight. It was a lovely scene. Only in one corner it was still winter. Why it was still winter? It was the farthest corner of the garden, and in it was standing a little boy. He was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the tree, and he was wandering all round it, crying bitterly. Why? Because he couldn't sit on the branch, so there was winter only there, and it was the farthest corner of the garden. And because of the little boy not sitting on the branch of the tree was also unhappy. The poor tree was still covered with frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring above it, because there was a winter that side only, and all the three things, frost, snow, north wind, they were there. Climb up, little boy, said the tree. The tree was just motivating the child. Climb up, little boy, and it bent its branches down as low as it could. But the boy was so tiny. He was too tiny to climb up the branch. The tree was trying to help the child to climb on the branch so that spring can come to the tree also. But the boy was so tiny, so there was only frost, snow and north wind still torturing the tree. And the giant's heart melted and he looked out. What happened? Change in the heart of giant. Giant's heart melted. When did the giant's heart melt? To see this scene. A little boy unable to climb up the branch, and the tree was trying to lower its branches as low as it can. But still the child was not able to climb on it. How selfish I have been. Now he recognized he was so selfish. He understood, because he did not allow children to play in the garden. It was winter for many days, for many months. And because he could see where there were children, there was spring. But where the child was sitting in the tree, under the tree, winter was there. So he could understand, because of his selfishness, the spring did not arrive to his garden. He said, now I know why the spring would not come here. Because nature has taught him, nature had shown him. Because of his selfishness, because of the wall around the garden, because of the absence of children, spring didn't come to the garden. I will put that poor little boy on the top of the tree, and then I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the children's playground forever and ever. Now such a change in heart. See, his heart is totally changed. He become unselfish. From the selfish giant, he has now become a kind-hearted, an unselfish giant. What did he say? I will put that poor little boy on the top of the tree. I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the playground forever and ever. He was really very sorry for what he had done. So he crept downstairs and opened the front door quite softly and went out into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. Only the little boy did not run, for his eyes were full of tears, and that he did not see the giants coming. See, the child was bitterly crying, so his eyes were full of tears. He could not see giant coming, so he didn't run away. And other children who saw the giant, they all ran away, and winter again had occupied the entire garden. And the giant stole up behind him and took him gently in his hands and put him up into the tree. And the tree broke at once into blossoms, and the birds came and sang on it. And the little boy stretched out his 2 arms and flung them round the giant's neck and kissed him. See? Children are so cute. Children are so innocent. The little child, when he saw giant had helped him to reach the top of the tree, he just stretched out his 2 little arms and flung them round the giant's neck and kissed him. He was not scared of giants anymore. See here the giant and the little boy and all the children who are seeing now giant. And now the winter will go from this tree also, because the child will be on the top of the tree. Beautiful scene, beautiful illustration. Now stole up came quietly without being noticed. But children noticed him and they all ran away. But the child, that little boy, couldn't notice him. Here, see, the child is kissing the giant. He is not scared of the giant. He is so happy when the giant was there to help him. And the tree is all now green. There is no snow, no frost. And the other children, when they saw that the giant was not wicked any longer, came running back, and with them came the spring. Because with the children, spring also came. It is your garden now, little children, said the giant, and he took a great axe and knocked down the wall. See here, a great axe, and he has knocked down the wall of the garden. And children are so happy. And here, all spring, there is no winter now. See, he has knocked down the wall. And when the people were going to market at 12 o'clock, they found the giant playing with the children in the most beautiful garden they had ever seen. Because earlier there was no wall. When the giant came, he built a wall, and now the wall is again nowhere. So the children, the people who were coming at 12 o'clock, they found an amazing scene. The giant was playing with the children, and the most beautiful garden was there again for the children. See here, the giant is playing with the children. This is the giant's castle, and this is the garden, and the giant is so happily playing with children, and people were seeing it. They all saw it. So, what have we learned? We have learned about the giant who became unselfish because he came to know, because of his selfishness, spring was not entering his garden. And how did he come to know about? When he saw a little boy not able to climb up a tree, there was winter. But where there were children on the branches of a tree, there was spring. So he could understand the thing. He understood because of his selfishness, his garden was not having the springtime. So he went near to the little boy, helped the little boy to climb up the tree, and the little boy kissed the giant, and other children were also happy. They came back, and spring also came back. And the people, when they returned from their work at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, they found the wall was not there now, and the giant was playing with children. Now let's see what happened in the next part of the story. Till then, go through the story, tell the story to other children, and don't be selfish. Thank you. Have a nice day.